Hey guys! So, today we're going to answer a subscriber question, and the question in question was, Frederick, does knowing full stack development help with learning mobile development? So let's get into it. Well, let's just examine this question first and foremost. So, knowing full stack, in other words, the entire web stack, all the way from the interface all the way back to the database, all of that. Does all of that help you, knowing all of that, help you with mobile development? Well, in a word, yes, it will help you quite a bit, but I think we need to elaborate a little bit on this as well, because the thing is that if you really examine that question, in essence what the question is basically, does knowing a different field or knowing something else within programming, is that going to help you or transfer over into, say, something like mobile development? And guys, unless somebody, like, I hope, hopefully this will be fairly clear to you that any type of prior knowledge within programming is going to help you get better or at a faster pace, learn a new platform or a new tool or things of this nature. It is actually the quote-unquote big secret as to why senior developers know quote-unquote so many languages. In fact, that a senior developer, guys, is going to learn faster. Like, you may not think so if you're just starting out. The learning pace that you have in the beginning is very, very slow, and the reason for that is because you're doing everything for the first time, which is not that weird, right? But once you have learned the basics and you know a platform, doesn't matter which platform it is, and you get comfortable just producing results. And I like to say that you have this linear progression until one day you get to build the same thing twice, and then you loop. And when you start looping more and more and more, as time progresses, you will slow down this linear progression. You start looping on certain things, and when that iteration or that repetition starts kicking in, you will start to get, well, I'm not saying bored, but you're going to get very accustomed. Your brain goes, oh, this is a new in the beginning everything is new, but finally your brain kind of goes, oh, it's just this thing again. When you get to that point, you have acquired the skills to be quote unquote a professional, or more or less. And in order for you to then progress even further, it's very likely that you're going to take one or two routes. Either you specialize in the thing that you're really good at and get even deeper into it, or you start trying try something new. And then, of course, since most of the programming languages out there are very, very similar, you're going to be able to transfer some of that knowledge, just as a person who practices boxing will be able to transfer a lot of those skills over to kickboxing. It's not the same thing, and they won't be as good at it as somebody who's focused on kickboxing, but they will be able to transfer some of it. Same deal here. So what I'm kind of trying to say here is that, of course, knowing full stack development is going to help you with learning mobile development. Same thing goes the other way around if you really think about it. And if you know mobile development, it's going to help you learning full stack development or systems development. I mean, it varies a little bit on how much knowledge is going to be transferred, but at the very least, the core coding skills and the logical thinking and the way of structuring code is going to transfer. But I'm suggesting that you don't kind of take the route that this question is indicating, because if you really think about it, all right, if the question is, should you learn full stack development in order to get better at mobile development? That's not the exact question, but it kind of almost, I mean, it's almost a derivative of it. I would say no, because the thing is that learning full stack development, guys, it is going to take a damn long time. I'm not saying that. I can tell you right now, if anybody is trying to claim to me that they have learned the entire web stack to a professional level within anything less than 3 years, is most likely lying. It will take a long time to get that good at that, because it's such a big field, guys. I mean, just learning, you could spend the rest of your life just learning, getting really good at back-end development, just as you can with the front-end. I mean, it's a really, really big field. Mobile development is very, very small in comparison to the size of problems that you face on the on a full stack project. But that's only because you're basically trying to do two things at the same time. You're trying to master two fields at the same time. So what I personally would argue is more like constructive here is that, you do the thing that you focus on the thing that you want to be good at. it's very similar to the whole, kickboxing and boxing again. If you want to be a really good kickboxer, then you should practice kickboxing. You shouldn't do boxing just because it's sort of related. You should focus your energy on that. Same thing with mobile development. If you want to be a mobile developer, then you should focus on being a mobile developer. When you get bored with that, you can of course transfer those skills over to something different, and so forth. Same thing goes for full stack development. But you don't make this weird mental mistake which some people do, where they think that more is better, because it's not all the time. It comes down to efficient time. That's the important thing here. It's similar to how people tell me that, oh, I can in a very short amount of time learn all of these things, and I kind of go, yeah, okay, cool, you practiced your programming skills on, say, you practice your coding skills a few hours every week, and then you claim that you've been doing this for years. And I kind of go, well, no, if we count the actual time that you have spent writing software, it actually just boils down to a handful of hours. So say 100 hours or something like that. That is not the same, like that's not efficient time. That is the time that you have mentally called yourself a programmer, but that's not the actual coding time you have spent coding. And that's the important part here. Same thing goes for this. If you want to be efficient at software development, you should focus on the thing that you are actually interested in, because it's going to give you more energy if you work on something that you find relevant. Now, I will raise my finger and say one thing, and that is that although full stack development may not be the way to go in order to be a mobile developer, because it entails a completely disconnected field which is basically web UI design or development, which is not that relevant for a mobile developer. But knowing the backend, knowing how APIs and JSON and like networks and all that stuff works is very, very relevant, and it's going to help you quite a bit within mobile development. I would even go as far as to say that as a beginner, it's okay to only focus on mobile development, like the mobile device itself. But if you want to do it at a professional level, you're gonna have to learn how to like communicate with networks and how a backend system works, because there are quite a few things that you're going to touch on at larger scale. So what I want you to take away from this is that if your desire is to be a mobile developer or a full stack developer or a systems developer or so forth, don't try to spread yourself too thin too early. Focus on the thing that you're interested in so you can get some traction on that thing. And when you feel that you've had enough, or when you want to branch out a little bit, most of those skills are going to transfer into something else. But don't make the mental mistake of thinking, oh, I'm going to be a master system developer, I'm going to be a master full stack developer, and I'm going to be a master mobile developer, because nobody starts out being a master in everything, guys. You have to give it the time it needs. Have a great day.